This week on Engage the Sage.
Hi everyone, I'm Don Saucier. Welcome to this week's episode of Engage the Sage. This week, I'm going to talk to you about how to create and deliver excellent elevator talks. An elevator talk, or something I often call a research spiel, is going to be an overview of a project that you're working on. You might set it up so that you're inspiring interest in the overarching project in a way that an advertisement or a movie trailer might, or it might be more of a comprehensive presentation like an abstract for a journal article. There's lots of different contexts where you might want to be able to give a good elevator talk. These might include a conference, it might be an interview, it might be a class, or it might be a chance encounter with somebody, like you're sitting next to someone in a plane or you're riding on an elevator with them, which is where the name for this comes from. I also recommend, in particular, we talked about that conference one just a second ago. If you're at a conference at a poster presentation, I recommend having your elevator talk available to deliver to someone rather than letting them silently read your poster while you stand there awkwardly. The goals of your elevator talk are to inform and impress. So now I'm going to spend some time talking about how to create your elevator talk. First of all, these are short. The length will probably be somewhere in the area between 30 seconds and 3 minutes. In terms of your format, especially if it's an elevator talk about a research project, the organization is going to mimic the organization of an APA-style research paper. So you might have an introduction, a methods, a results, and a discussion. While you're creating the talk, I want you to focus on the 4 C's. So make sure that talk is clear, complete, concise, and compelling. In particular, focus on that 4th C, make it compelling. Some ways to do this might letting your audience know what your topic is and why you're interested. You might connect it to a very famous or a very timely pop cultural event. You're going to want to make your research question and or hypotheses really clear and easy for your audience to understand. You might consider giving the talk in second person to allow your audience to think about what it would be like to be a participant in the study you're describing. Relatedly, you might consider building in some questions to your talk to make it more interactive than truly a presentation. When you make your elevated talk more of a guided conversation about your topic, it allows your audience to collaborate on that experience. And then you're going to end your elevator talk with a powerful concluding statement. I want you to stick the landing. I want you to drop the mic. I now have some tips for what you can do to deliver the talk better. First of all, I want you to get yourself ready. So just like I recommended for how you might answer questions in a presentation or when you're teaching, I want you to smile, breathe, think, and talk so that you manage any emotional anxiety you might have, any excite nerve that you might have, so that you can focus on making that a positive experience for you and for your audience. I'm going to recommend that you are clear in your communication. So it means you should limit your use of jargon. And any jargon you have to use, you should definitely define. I recommend you project your voice so your audience doesn't have to work to hear you. And I recommend that you maintain some nonverbal connection to your audience, like some non-intimidating eye contact. If you were doing this at a conference, like in that poster hall in front of your poster, when you were delivering your elevator talk or your research spiel to someone who comes to your poster, please focus on them and not try to shop for your next customer by reading the name tags of all the people walking by. While you are giving your talk, I want you to be attentive to how your audience is dealing with it. You might find that you have to adapt your talk to make it maybe a little shorter or maybe a little longer, depending on the knowledge that the individual that you're talking to has and the interest that they have in your talk. If they are not interested, maybe make it a little bit more concise and wrap it up a little quicker. Either way, I want to encourage you to encourage your audience to ask you questions. This lets them know that it's really important to you that they are receiving the talk that you're giving them, that they're understanding the project you're sharing with them, and that they have the opportunity to provide you feedback to enhance maybe your research program moving forward. And finally, when you're done your conversation with your audience, thank them. I think it is very important that we show gratitude to the people who took a few moments out of their day to listen to what we're working on. Now, some of you may have done a lot of elevator talks, some of you may be a little bit less. The good thing about them is they get easier with practice. When I'm getting ready to go to a conference, when I'm working with my students to get ready to go to a conference, we work on these elevator talks, we work on these research spiels, and we practice them. We come up with a good story to tell, we come up with great connections, we come up with these powerful mic drop landings. But it's important that while we're prepared, we're not memorizing and reciting. what that will do is take away some of the energy of the spontaneity of that perceived conversation with our audience. One of the ways that in my research lab that we practice this is what I call pop-up presentations, which means that any of my research students at any time might be called on to stand up and give the elevator talk. And this is a great way to kind of understand the need for spontaneity, especially for those chance encounters where you might have the opportunity to tell someone about your research. My final recommendation for giving elevator talks is to make this awesome for you. What you are doing when you give an elevator talk or a research spiel is you're taking the opportunity to tell someone else about the really cool stuff that you're doing, and that should be wonderful. I talk all the time about trickle-down engagement. Your engagement is going to drive your audience's engagement, is going to help them learn about what you're talking about. So focus on making this an awesome story for you to tell, then your audience is going to like it, and they're going to remember it. In the comments below, I would love to hear any questions you have or any suggestions you have about giving excellent elevator talks. Thank you for watching this episode of Engage the Sage. Please like, subscribe, sign up for notifications, share us on social media, and we'll see you next time on Engage the Sage.